Young Youth, it's Ellie here. I'm so excited to introduce to you to our speaker today. It's Daniel from our youth team. You'll know him really well. He's going to speak to us about how love is not self-seeking, and really encourage you to get your PDF journals open and take notes while you're watching. Enjoy.
Good morning, HTB youth, younger youth. I hope you're doing all right. As Ellie has said, my name is Daniel Jungnickel. I am one of your young youth pastors, and it is such a pleasure to be able to talk to you today and give this short message. And as you know, we are currently going through the 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8 series, the whole Love Is series, and it's been a pleasure to just be a part of it and to see it through. And it's honestly been so much fun to be able to just dissect every single section of this passage. And so last week Ethan started off verse 5, and I'm going to continue in verse 5, and my section is love is not self-seeking. That's the NIV translation, right? And so let's look at some other translations. The NLT translation says that it does not demand its own way. So love does not demand its own way. And the New King James Version says, does not seek its own, right? And so let's look at the word itself, self-seeking. The Oxford Language Dictionary defines it as having concern for one's own self, welfare, and interest before those of others. Well, to me, self-seeking seems quite self-centered, and it could be seen as selfish. So if love is not self-seeking, that must mean that love is the opposite, which is selfless. Or another word could be altruistic, which means showing a concern, for a selfless concern for the well-being of others, which literally is unselfish, right? So anyways, here's a quick fact about me. So whether or not you find it interesting, that's up to you, but my favorite number is number 2. So growing up, I always thought it was my lucky number. It never actually was. I just liked it. I like even numbers. In math, I thought they were easier to multiply, etc., etc., and even numbers were just cool, because you could divide them by 2 and it would be cool. Or when I played sports, with the club or with the school, I'd always try to get the jersey number 2 because I just liked it, But as I grew up, as I started reading the Bible, and as I started to grow more in my faith, this number started to bear more significant meaning on me, which was that in reality, I come second and God comes first in my life as a Christian. So as I was thinking about what I was going to say in this message over the last couple of weeks, actually just 1 week, 2 things became very, very clear to me. The first thing is that life as a Christian is not self-centered. It is God-centered. Culture today is all about love yourself, all about be the best that you can be. It's all about you, myself, self-improvement, being, etc., etc. It is social media and today's culture literally, what's the word? Like a commercial, I don't know. It literally tells you that you are the most important thing and that all that you should be worried about is you, and you. It's literally advertising, that's the word, self-centeredness. A worldview where you are the center of the universe. We know that in our galaxy, the sun's the center of our universe. But anyways, in a Christian life, God should be the center of your life, of your universe. So even today, we all know that Jesus was super countercultural back in his day. But even today, what Jesus says still holds up. And we're called to be countercultural. And we're called to put God in the center of our lives, in the center of our universe. Now, a Bible passage that I am reminded of is Romans 10 verses 9. In the NIV it says, "If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved." So what does it mean Jesus is Lord? There's a bigger significance to this, because when you say that somebody is Lord, they have authority over people, right? The verb to lord over can be taken in a negative way of somebody's taking advantage of their power to oppress somebody else. But when you say that Jesus is Lord over your life, Lord over everything, when you proclaim, like Paul says in Romans, if you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, not I am Lord of my life, Jesus is Lord of my life, you are giving up that right to Jesus. He now has authority over your life, right? And so that makes Jesus, or God, the center of your life, the center of your universe. So ultimately, we should put God above everything. He comes first, and everything else comes second. That's why my favorite number is 2. So how can we act this out practically, right? Well, that's my second point. My second point is simply what Jesus said is the second greatest commandment. It's a lot of 2s. This is fantastic. It's my favorite numbers 2, In Matthew 22 verses 34 through 40, Jesus is being tested. It's about the greatest commandment. And the Pharisees, after Jesus has silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees go and have a crack at him, and they ask, what is the greatest commandment, right? And verse 37 through 38, Jesus replies, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." Now that sounds a lot like my first point, because Jesus didn't say love yourself. He said love God with everything that you have. Literally, your heart, your soul, and your mind. Everything. But then Jesus continues and says, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And that's my second point. As Christians, Jesus calls us to literally humble ourselves and to love our neighbor, and not just to love them a bit, but to love ourselves. I've lost my point. Where is it? All right, here we go. Neighbor is literally anyone that we come in contact with, not just our physical neighbor, but a stranger that we are coming into contact with, a friend that we're coming into contact with. That is our neighbor. And it's not just to love them a bit here and there, but to love them like we love ourselves. It's as if God knew that we would be selfish and self-centered, and we would live in a world where self-centeredness is promoted, and it's all about us, it's all about you, it's all about that individual, and it's all about how you can live your best life, right? Here he calls us to put that same amount of effort that we put into loving ourselves. He calls us to put that effort into loving our neighbor. So it's all about not being self-centered. It's all about being selfless. It's all about being humble. It's all about being second. So let me pray. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for today. I pray that the younger youth were able to get something out of this message, Lord. I pray that the young youth are able to see the importance in prioritizing you in their lives. And Lord, I pray that as we ask you to be Lord over our life, that you remind us that you are a loving Lord. You are a loving God. you are a loving Father, one that will not give us a snake if we ask for an apple, but instead you will give us an apple in abundance, Lord. So Lord, I pray that the younger youth have an amazing Sunday, have an amazing day, and have an amazing week. And Lord, I pray that you walk alongside us and you guide us today, every day, this week, and all the days of our life. In your name I pray. Amen. Anyways, younger youth, I hope you have an amazing Sunday. Peace.
Thank you, Daniel, so much for that amazing talk. Young youth, I hope you loved it as much as I did. Join us next week for another episode of the Young Youth Journal. Have a good week.